Akiva Eldar is political analyst and contributor to Haaretz, and he's joining us live from Tel Aviv. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Eldar. So we'll start with the CIA Director William Burns in Israel. How receptive is the Israeli government to what the Americans are saying?
Unfortunately, there is a consensus in the Israeli government, not only between the Likud and the radical right. We were hoping that the war will come to its end once Benny Gantz and Gadi Eisenkot, who joined the cabinet right after October 7th, once they will realize that Netanyahu is gambling on the lives of the Israeli captives. And, Elizabeth, in the Jewish tradition, redemption of prisoners is part of the ethos, of the Jewish ethos. Israel was willing, and actually this was Prime Minister Netanyahu, who was willing to, ready to release more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners in return for Gilad Shalit, who was kidnapped by Hamas and was held in Gaza for more than 5 years. Among those 1,027 prisoners was the current leader of Hamas, Mr. Sinwar. But right now, when I talk to politicians from both aisles of the political corridor, what I hear is that Israel cannot allow the Hamas to get back to Gaza and to get full control on the Rafah crossing. So Netanyahu is falling on his sword.
Yeah, Mr. Eldar, from what you're saying, it sounds like the release of the Israeli captives in Gaza, it sounds like you're saying it's not a priority for this government at the moment.
Yes, it's not a priority for the government, and I'm talking about both aisles of the coalition. The first priority of the government is to put more pressure. They believe that more pressure on Hamas will get them a better deal. What Hamas is refusing to clearly say is that among those 33 captives, how many people are still alive? The Israelis, there is no trust. And here comes the head of the CIA, and Secretary of State is on his way here in order to get more information and to make it clear. Just imagine, Elizabeth, if we will get 30 bodies back and 3 people alive.
Yeah.
Netanyahu cannot afford this.
And do you see, Mr. Eldar, do you see the things that the Israeli military has done in Rafah over the past few days, including asking at least 100,000 people in eastern Rafah to evacuate and increase in attacks, and crucially, closing the Rafah border crossing? Do you see that as part of the pressure that you're speaking of that Israel wants to exert on Hamas to get what Israel wants?
Actually, what Netanyahu is looking at is getting more clearance from the United States, first from Bill Burns and now from Secretary Blinken. As long as the Americans are not stopping him, they do certain things. They send clear messages, like what your correspondent from Washington just mentioned, holding ammunition. But as long as they don't put their foot down and say enough and enough, and I'm afraid that the Americans understand one or two things in Israeli politics, and they know, and maybe also the Hamas politics, because if, on the other hand, Sinwar will allow Netanyahu to take control, even only military control over Gaza, this is kind of admitting defeat. And why did he sacrifice the lives of 40,000 people and starvation in order to allow Israel to get back to Gaza. So I'm afraid that if there will not be new ideas coming both from Qatar, from Egypt, and the United States, and the price that Netanyahu will have to pay, also in the Israeli public opinion. Every day we see more and more people demonstrating and closing highways, blocking highways. If there will not be greater pressure from inside and from outside, we are stuck. And I just mentioned that there was an Israeli soldier kept in prison for more than 5 years.
Mr. Eldar, thank you as always for your analysis. That is the Haaretz News publication's Akiva Eldar live in Tel Aviv.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.